promote or promotion any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant only for educational purpose only.
Cellmark, your chosen lab expert in the game. Tested the blood, telling the world the name. Eddie O'Brien, they said with conviction, but the truth came out like a hidden addiction. DNA tested, but what did it show? Excluded my man in that courtroom flow. Not a maybe, not a doubt, they sealed the fate. How you sell that story when the evidence won't wait? Stabbings and chaos, the narrative spins, but the DNA's whispering, where do we begin? You're trying to pin the blame, but you're missing the mark. Eddie's outside, lit up, nothing but dark. Can't blame the dog when it wasn't even home. This ain't a fair fight, Eddie's been alone. Janet Downing's world, blood on the slate, but the night's truth waiting can't seal Eddie's fate. How do you even tell when facts slip away? We dance round the lies like the night turns to day. Lights dim down, jury on pause in the courtroom theater. I'm just a part of the cause. You're trying to pin the blame, but you're missing the mark. Eddie's outside, lit up, nothing but dark. Can't blame the dog when it wasn't even home. This ain't a fair fight, Eddie's been alone. Chaos in the streets, but the truth won't die. You can try to twist the knife, but look me in the eye. Exclusions in the lab, but you still want to shout. Did it run through your veins? What's this all about? You're trying to pin the blame, but you're missing the mark. Eddie's outside, lit up, nothing but dark.
Late night whispers in a darkened room. Janet Donna's fate sealed with impending doom. A house once safe, now a stage for dread. Struggled for her life, but its demons fed. Oh, shadows of deceit where truth gets lost. Innocence shattered at an unholy cost. Eddie in the frame, but the signs aren't clear. Blood on the walls, but something's amiss here. Something's amiss here. Dragged up and down, her cries fill the air. Stabbed 98 times, so much pain to bear. A bride sliced and torn, left in disarray. But tell me why is Eddie still in play? Witnesses watched, but the story's a mess. 5 to 7 minutes, can't nobody guess. Shadows of deceit where truth gets lost. Innocence shattered at an unholy cost. Eddie in the frame, but the signs aren't clear. Blood on the walls, but something's amiss here. No, something's amiss here. No forced entry, he didn't have the keys, but Artie's lurked in shadows, crafted his schemes. Haunted her life with promises of pain. Days before her death, her fears were in vain. DNA whispered secrets that can't be denied. Fingerprints left untraced, trust misapplied. As items disappeared, paranoia grew. Janet's voice echoing, begging for truth. Oh, shadows of deceit where truth gets lost. Innocence shattered at an unholy cost. Eddie in the frame, but the signs aren't clear. Blood on the walls, but something's amiss here. won't let it fade. For every unsung victim, justice must be made.
In the shadows, where the whispers die, a pulse and bass echoes as the violins sigh. Tension builds like a storm in the night. It's the tale of justice caught in the fight. It wasn't an oversight, it wasn't a mistake. It's the law that you shatter, it's the lives that you break. When the prosecutor values a win over the truth, you get 30 years of stolen, locked away youth. But the defense is moving with purpose and grace. The filing is done, it's a whole new race. The walls of that box are melting under the sun. Hope is alive and the battle's begun. A dramatic soaring electric guitar takes flight, backed by the strings swelling with might. The sound breaks the chains of oppression's reign as a shift towards victory starts the game. Now the folders are open, secrets laid bare. Margot Nash wrote the truth for the world to declare. The website is shining, illuminating the fraud, exposing the path that the prosecutor flawed. In the symphony of justice we rise and we soar. With each note we break through, we'll settle the score. From the shadows to the spotlight, we're finding our way. With the orchestra leading, we won't go astray. Echoes of the laws, their voices in the wind. The stories are written and now we begin. With the powerful strings and the basses embrace, we'll rewrite the rules in this infinite space. The tension builds higher as we gather our strength. In the face of adversity, we'll go to great lengths. Harmony restored as the truth comes alive. In the crescendo of justice, our spirits revive. So listen, dear world, to the symphony sound. It's not just a battle, it's a victory found. From the bass to the violins, let freedom take flight. In the crescendo of truth, we ignite the night. Yeah. Yeah. Hey yo, listen up. Before we dive in, I got a message for you. Let this truth begin. This ain't just a podcast, it's a movement bold, built on the grind. Let the story unfold. Every night I hustle, digging deep through the grind, pouring truth in your ear, leave the fakes behind. Researching records, no shortcuts taken. This ain't fairy dust, it's the real we're making.
Can we keep it real?
If you feel the vibe, hit that subscribe, let your support come alive.
Smash that like.
If you rock with the crew, gift the membership, drop a super chat too.
Independent hustle, only real ones survive. Keep the flame burning,
Let's
keep this alive.
Yo, Yo, it's a barbershop vibe where each word's a weapon. Truth in the booth, got you feeling the tension. No sugarcoat, only raw. It's a truth parade. Each episode made with the passion displayed. From the streets to your speakers, we echo the sound. So hold it down tight, cause we're breaking new ground. If you appreciate the grind, now's your chance. Show your love and support, give this thing a glance.
Can we keep it real?
If you feel the vibe, hit that subscribe, let your support come alive.
Smash that like.
If you rock with the crew, gift the membership, drop a super chat too.
Independent hustle, only real ones survive. Keep the flame burning, let's keep this alive.
I'm out here for you, each fact verified. Digging through the layers, there's nowhere to hide. You want the truth, then we gotta be tight. Support the creator, keep this movement in sight. So if you rock with the movement, let it be known. This platform's got heart, it ain't on its own. Share the word, spread the vibe, let it flow. With your support, we'll keep this show on the road. Slide through on Venmo or Cash App, let's connect, keep the truth flowing. That's the real respect. Y'all ready? Let's get into today's show.
With your love and support,
We'll continue to grow.
can we keep it real?
You know we can.
Welcome to the movement, let's take a stand.
Okay. What's up, everybody? Mic check, mic check. How we doing today? Can you hear me? We got good sound? What's going on, everybody? How we doing? How are we doing today? What's new? Shit. Yep. You know. But what is going on, everybody, man? Happy for Stephen Pina. You know, Stephen Pina being freed, you know. But what is going on, everybody, man? What is poppin'? Man, beautiful day today, man. Happy birthday to my wife. It was our anniversary yesterday. Busy week. Busy week. My father passed away last year, August 14th. Yes, gotta give him the drum roll. You know what I mean? My father up there in up there with his mom, you know. So rest in peace to my father, and happy birthday to Mama Dukes, man. Happy anniversary. You know, it's crazy because we got my father. You know, my father passed away on the 14th, and then my anniversary's on the 15th. 24 years. Salute to that. Can I get a drum roll for that one? 24 years. 24 years. That's a long time. You know, but I gotta say, man, it's been 24 really, really good years. The good outweighs the bad. Not with all these damn things up there. Is it? Yeah, 24 years. The good definitely outweighs the bad, man. What is going on, everybody, man? Beautiful, beautiful day. August, summertime is almost over. You know, we'll be wrapping it up in a couple weeks. Believe it or not, September will be here before, you know, it'll be friggin' Halloween. Halloween's a good time to have some fundraisers, though. You know, good time. But what is going on, everybody, man? Share this, hit the like button. I really appreciate it, man. You know, free Eddie O'Brien. That's for sure, man. You know? That is for sure, man. Rest in peace to Janet Downing, first and foremost. Yeah, that the Nancy Clancy case, man. That's real. I've been seeing some crazy shit on TikTok. But I don't know. I have some. It's that case is just so troubling, man. Anytime you have, situations where you have kids that lose their life, it's just kind of hard to get past that. But I hear a lot of crazy conspiracies, like the husband did it. I definitely think, all the drugs she was on definitely had something to do with it. But I think if a man's drunk driving or a woman's drunk driving and he hits somebody, right? Is he still responsible? I'm just like, when I think about the Nancy Clancy case, right? And, it's like, the children, man. You think about the poor kids and that. You can't protect the innocent by pretending the guilty didn't do it. And I feel bad for Nancy Clancy. I really do. I really do. But I don't hear her legal team saying she didn't do it. Does she belong in prison? I don't know. That's not on me. She definitely needs some help. But I think no matter I actually got a bunch of notes here about it, and don't hate me when we talk about this real quick, but something that keeps popping up in a lot of these conversations is the idea that Nancy Clancy didn't do it, or she wasn't responsible, right? Or wasn't in her right state of mind. I seen something that Michael Gaffney was talking about, and he said something that made sense. And he said, when you start claiming that it wasn't Nancy who did that to her children, you're not defending her. You're erasing the truth, and the truth is very ugly in this case. The truth is friggin' heartbreaking. The truth is undeniable. The insanity defense, is just not a magic eraser. Happy anniversary. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Happy Sunday, chat. Let's free Eddie. Absolutely, man. Happy anniversary. Thank you, Miss Patricia White. Appreciate that. Mama D. Appreciate you. What's going on, Mama D? How you doing? Welcome. But when I talk about Nancy Clancy, don't hate me. Happy birthday, Queen Christine. Yeah, she's working right now. The last couple of weeks kind of set us back. So yeah, Mama had to go to work on her birthday. That's right, but she'll be home at 2:00. We're gonna have a surprise birthday, little party for I got all the grandkids coming by. My son Xavier will be here, my son Chico, my 8 grandchildren, my daughter Jenna, so daughter Michelle. It's gonna be a good time. But let me get into the Nancy Clancy thing a little bit, But when people hear insanity defense and think it's some kind of spiritual belief, but you could wash away the accountability if you just say the right psychiatric words, and the poor lady, man, all the drugs that they were giving her, but insanity doesn't mean I didn't do it. It means I did it, but my mind was broken. Definitely two different places. One is innocent and one is responsibility with a mental illness attached. And Nancy wasn't possessed. Nancy wasn't framed. I don't think that Nancy Clancy was sleepwalking. I don't think she was abducted. She did that. She committed the horrible act against her own children. Whether she was the bipolar issues, Lindsay. Sorry. Nancy, yeah. Lindsay, I'm sorry. A lot of Lindsays. You know, the whole Clancy Nancy thing. Thank you, though. I got so much stuff on my mind, man. I can't keep up with Eddie. You know, but, yeah, now I feel like an idiot. You know, but, I mean, accountability don't disappear, you know, because the story hurts. And I would be a horrible juror if I was on this case, because I don't think I would hear anything else after, you know, and that's why juries, you know, bias. As soon as you walk, like, you're biased. Everybody has some sort of bias in them. I mean, people do want to stop the narrative because the real one is painful to hold on to. I bet it is. You know, trying to carry boiling water with your bare hands, you know, it's hot. This story is definitely hot, you know, it definitely burns. You know, but I think Nancy's actions left scars, permanent scars, life-changing scars, you know? And when you start saying it wasn't her, what does it do to the memory of the children? Now, whether she's put in prison or a psychiatric hospital, nothing's going to erase the healing. Nothing's going to erase the tragedy of what happened to them children. And when this case is over, everybody is just going to go on to the next case. You know, they say when you do media training, they say you got 48 hours into the next news cycle. So anything you're basically involved in, just give it 48 hours and it'll probably blow over. Something else will end up breaking, you know, and we'll be going down that hill. But right now we're here about the Lindsay, the insanity defense, you know. I mean, is it like a fire extinguisher? Someone said it is like a fire extinguisher. You only pour it out when the flames are uncontrollable. You know, but it don't undo the fire. You know, it don't make the fire not your fault. It just explains why it happened. You know, now I think Lindsay's mental state may explain why, but it doesn't change the who. It don't change that it happened, right? So her mental state will explain why, right? But should she be held responsible? You know, I mean, I don't know what prison is gonna do for her, and I don't know what other punishment you could give her. Punishment, you know, that she don't know already, you know, going through. But when people say that she didn't do it, you know, are you protecting her? You know, or are you really harming the memory of the children all over again? But if you erase the offender, do you erase the offense? And if you erase the offense, do you erase the victims? You know what I mean? The kids deserve the truth. Not excuses, not emotional gymnastics. It's sad. It really is. It's very, very sad. And I can't pretend that I know what she was going through, but I kind of think that, you know, accountability. You know, if there was a drunk driver behind the wheel of a car, incapacitated, you know, just under the influence, or if there was somebody, you know, say if there was, you know, somebody was on prescription medication and something happened, you know, would you hold them responsible? Thank you, Trisha. Happy anniversary. Happy birthday to Christina. Yeah, she's working right now. She'll be home at 2. Yes, get in there, like and subscribe and share if you care. You know, don't hate me when I talk about Lindsay. I was calling her Nancy Clancy earlier. I don't know. But I was just thinking about that earlier because, you know, I see all this talk. You know, I seen a video earlier. I'll have to go back and find it. And I was just like, wow. Some of these videos, and you think that it was a horrific act that was committed, and yes, maybe her mental state may explain it, but does it erase what happened? And when people try to rewrite the story, you can't pretend that she was not responsible, right? You can't pretend she didn't do it. She's not even denying that. Are we helping her? Are we helping the community? Are we helping the memory of the children? And we can't just run from truth that refuses to be outran. But don't hate me. Don't hate me. I just wanted, yes, absolutely, happy birthday to my wife. I got on here a little early because, I'm trying to, I got the kids coming over. I got the pool all set up. Yeah, Mama had to work, man. We falling behind. Mama had to go to work today. I would love to say that life's all like a bowl of cherries. Life is kind of like a bowl of cherries, right? Just don't swallow too many damn pits. But yeah, we started falling behind those. Mama had to go to work today. It gets expensive out here, Cereal, $7 a damn box. Crazy. What I wanted to say, though? I did want to talk a little bit about Janet, man. Janet Downing. Janet first, man. Janet always. People say, Mikey, you don't give a shit about Janet. I was like, come on, how can you say that? Because you're over there, riding with the Eddie O'Brien train. Riding? Wait, what do you mean riding with the Eddie O'Brien train? What kind of shit is that? You know what I mean? And when I hear just ignorant shit like that, it just... And that's why the last couple of days I kind of backed off a little bit. I had to clear my mind, and I was like, why are people why people cannot open up their friggin' mind? Absolutely, Trish. I know that. And why can't people open up their damn mind? Because anytime I hear the O'Briens talk about Janet Downing, we love Janet. And I really believe that Janet has been Eddie's angel for all these years. Hate me if you want. Talk shit if you want. But I really believe that Janet has been Eddie's angel. Yeah, a lot of things. Sorry's overrated too. I always said that Sorry was overrated. I was told when I was very young that Sorry was the biggest lie ever told. See, I was raised by some real people, man, that just talk some real shit. You know what I mean? From a very young age, it's kind of like, what does your sorry do for me? When people say they're sorry to you, you know what I mean? What does that do? We gotta write that down. Write that down. What does sorry really do? When people say some disturbing shit, or you borrow my car, you crack it up, you come back and you say, hey, Mike, my bad, sorry. And you leave and you go home and you go into your little world, and I'm left with a twisted up car. So what does sorry really mean? But sometimes in a lot of these conversations, people get shit twisted, right? Like fighting for Eddie somehow means forgetting about the victim, forgetting about Janet Downing. Absolutely not. Janet is first and foremost. But when you look over the evidence, you will see the truth. The serology testing, the DNA, the Amatol test. Yes, we know Janet is the victim. Janet is the one who lost her life, right? Janet is the one whose children lost their mother, right? That's something to be talked about another day. Janet is the one who deserves truth, not a conversation, not a convenient story, right? And what is the truth? And I believe, if you look at the evidence, right? after you look at the timeline, and right up here right here, you see this? What I'm pointing at, and you see what Denise just put in, right here. This and this. If you take a picture of this, why don't you try this, Denise? Can you take a picture of this QR code and make sure it brings you to Give Send Go? Or anybody try it. Take a picture of this that I have where it says Eddie O'Brien Defense Fund. Take a picture of that and let me know where it takes you. Justice for Janet. It's not Eddie. Free Eddie and find the real killer. Then Janet will finally have justice. I hope you're right, Patricia. You know, but I really believe that, you know, justice is a funny thing. You know, but Janet deserves the untruth. You know, Eddie deserves the truth. And when you look at the evidence, the timelines, right, the contradictions in this case, there's no way Eddie O'Brien did this. There's no way Eddie did this. And I'm not just saying that because that's what I want to say, you know, or because I'm feeling that way. I'm saying that because that's where the evidence took me. Nobody went over this case like I went over this case. Yeah, you know what I mean? I wish I did a better job at the fundraiser. You know, a little nervous. You know, don't really speak in front of crowds a lot of times. You know, but as soon as I was done, get off that stage, I was like, oh shit, I should have said this. I should have said that. You know what I mean? You can't honor a victim by accepting a lie. You know what I mean? That's like trying to fix a broken window with duct tape. You know, yeah, maybe it's going to cover the cracks, but the damage is still there. You know what I mean? And for over 3 decades, 31 years, the Commonwealth, thank you, Trisha. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Aunt Jerry. I know I'm just tough on myself. There was so much, like, I had so much that I wanted to say. You know, I just thought it was going to be set up different. I thought there was a podium. I actually had it all written out, had it all scripted out on my computer. Had, you know, bullet points so I didn't forget. But next time we do it, and there will be a next time, I'm going to bring my microphone, my speaker, you know, because I want to tell that story live, you know. But for 31 years, the state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, whatever you want to try to call themselves, you know, they tried to sell you a story that just didn't fit the facts. Of course, Your Honor is in the chat. What's going on, Jerry? I got my book last week. Nice. I'll tell you what. There is a lot of things in that book that I found interesting, and maybe we can talk about some of that, especially when you get back and they start talking about Carrie Ann and Artie's timeline. That is, you know what? We are going to talk about that, actually. We are going to talk about that. You know, but, you know, they tried to make it like a 15-year-old altar boy, you know. They tried to make him into a monster. Why? Because it was easier than admitting that they didn't know who the real killer was. And they didn't care who the real killer was. You know? But I think Janet deserves better than a shortcut that Riley gave her. She deserves accuracy. She deserves the truth. She deserves justice, not political theater. Is she going to get justice after Eddie is free? I don't know. That's not up to me to find out. But you know what? Clap it up for Stephen Pina, huh? Stephen Pina exonerated? How about that? How about a freaking psychopath as the star witness in the Stephen Pina case, huh? Stephen Pina exonerated. Nobody's going to want to talk about that now because I talked about it, but congratulations to Stephen Pina, you know, and if he wants to come on here, talk about Eddie, you know, talk about other guys that need to be exonerated. I can't pay you, bro. You know, I can't pay you. I don't pay people. But if he wants to come on, and talk about them things, I would love to have him on. Or if anybody as a family member that's going through, that was wrongly convicted, or if anyone knows about the Eddie O'Brien case and they want to talk about the case, they want to talk about the facts, hit me up. Let me know. You know what I mean? But when you talk about the evidence, man, the evidence and not the emotions, the fingerprint that don't match Eddie, the DNA, right? Excluded. Yeah, happy birthday to my wife, man. She's a good woman, man. And any man would be happy. I ain't just saying that because she's my wife. God forbid. And I ever told her if I was ever in Eddie's case, I would want her to go on and live her life, But yeah, but let's get back into this. The fingerprints. Did they match Eddie? No. How about the DNA, right? The DNA excluded Eddie, right? His behavioral profile, it don't match the crime. Did anybody take a picture of that QR code up there in the top corner of the screen and let me know if it works? See. Shout out to the W Number, man. Yo, go check out the W Number podcast. You know what? Matty's been, go check out his shit on Mass and Cast. Shit that's going on down there. Matty's been doing a great job over there, and I'm gonna hook up with him so soon and talk about the Eddie O'Brien case. But when we talk about the DNA, that shit was excluded, right? The behavioral profile don't match the crime. You know what I mean? The serology test don't match. I mean, Eddie O'Brien has to be the one. I know where I come from, everybody's innocent. Didn't you know that? Matty will tell you that. Everybody's innocent. You know what I mean? But I think Eddie O'Brien is probably the one innocent guy, locked up for 31 years. The fingerprints, none matching. The DNA excluded Eddie O'Brien. How come after you tested Eddie O'Brien and you told the district attorney that shit didn't match, what did he tell you? Chat, let him know. What did he tell him? He said, stop testing. Stop testing. There's other people. The serology test came back and said, hey, Eddie O'Brien is excluded. The blood didn't come back to Eddie's O. Eddie is O. And they said the same lady that got fired, yeah, all right, I'll do that. Hold on. I'm going to send it to your email. Give me a minute. Get Matty up here. Matty's the one that knows about how the Massachusetts Department of Corrections work. Matty has a lot of great shows, man. Oh, Stephen Pina. Stephen Pina. He was just. Stephen just sent me another video he took from Mass and Cass. So, I'm not sure who that Stephen is, but yeah, Mass and Cass. My man over here did a great video. Yeah, I just sent him a link. I mean, yeah, that's cool. Handle that. No doubt. We here, Matty. We here. Oh, okay. You know. Rachel Rollins, nice, man. Nice. Rachel Rollins is running for Suffolk County. You know, Rachel Rollins knows about the people like the Tom Rileys and stuff. You know, Rachel Rollins knows the Eddie O'Brien case. You know what I mean? But yeah, tap in with for sure, man, and keep doing that work. You know, but go check out the W Number podcast. She needs to get in W. Absolutely, man. He's about to do the Rachel Rollins interview in 10 minutes. Or a few minutes. Absolutely, man. Yeah, Matty's doing a great job. Matty has an awesome story. I would advise everyone to go over to the W Number podcast. You know what I mean? I think what Matty's doing, keeping in touch with guys that are on the inside, giving them hope, going down Mass and Cass, trying to expose all that corruption out there. That was a dangerous place, man. That was a dangerous place for Matty to be, him and his boy. But Janet Downing, the victim, right? She deserves respect. She deserves mad respect. You know, and honoring Janet does not mean accepting a fake story about Eddie O'Brien. You know what I mean? Eddie O'Brien did the truth serum test, and he said the same thing under the truth serum that he said before they drugged him up. He said the same shit. I went in the house. Look, I look around. There's blood everywhere. Janet's on the floor. And guess what? The blood on Eddie's shin wasn't his blood. I could break that down for you too. I could break the DNA for you. You know, what do you need? You know, because if you look at the evidence, the timeline, the forensic science, right? All the contradictions, right? The false narratives. There was no way Eddie O'Brien did this. Honoring Janet, if you want to honor a victim by accepting a lie, go ahead, man. Go do you. Go follow Turtle Chat too. You know what I mean? That's like trying to fix a broken window with duct tape. You know? You want to make an altar boy into a monster. Come on, Janet deserves better than that shit. Why was the story buried? You know why? Because 1995 was a super predator season. It was a time to lock everybody up. Anybody in the 90s that was getting locked up knows it wasn't just about kids. You know, it wasn't just about the kids. They were locking everybody up. Everybody was getting locked up in the 90s. Super predator era, political fever. Every teenager was treated like a ticking time bomb, right? Oh, he's crazy. See, Eddie wasn't tried as Eddie, though. Eddie was tried as a symbol. Eddie was a symbol of fear, right? A symbol of outrage. Tough on crime, right? But symbols don't commit crimes, do they? And the person who did this to Janet was not Eddie O'Brien. So stop simping. Yeah, I'm talking to you, sir. Because you know why? Fighting for Eddie is fighting for Janet. People act like you can't hold both truths at once. Where you from, sir? Because Janet deserves justice, right? And Eddie O'Brien didn't kill her. But those truths are not enemies, they're partners. And I believe as soon as Eddie walks out of that prison, Janet will rest in peace. Because if Eddie didn't do it, then Janet's real killer was never held accountable. Oh, and that means Janet wasn't only failed once, she was failed twice. And once the person who took her life, and again, the system that blames the wrong child, right? Standing up for Eddie is standing up for Janet, I said. She deserves the truth, not a friggin' political conviction. You know what I'm saying? Get with the program, people. We'll be right back. Oh yeah, hit that like button, grab a membership. You already know, support Eddie. You know, free all the guys. Absolutely, man. We freeing Eddie. You know, go over there and check out the W Number podcast and go tell him that Mikey sent you. Shout out to Matty. We're going to talk to him very soon. Matty is working his ass off, man. God bless him. This beautiful little daughter, I believe, creating a nice family, doing the right thing. It's hard to stay out here on the streets. It's hard. It's not easy. But don't go nowhere. You already know. Be right back.
In the halls of the state, they were building a stage. They had a timeline to meet, had to turn the page. Tom Riley needed a conviction to seal his name. So they locked all the exits and started the game. But the Constitution says the scales must be fair. You can't hide the truth, just to trap a boy there. They took the exculpatory proof, locked it away, deep in a cardboard cage, out of the light of day. Oh, they locked it all up in the Brady box, secured by a system of political locks. They hid the unsealed notes, they hid the design to keep an innocent man doing 30 years of time. But the hinges are rusted, the cardboard is thin, and the hammer of Rule 30 is about to cave it in. For 3 long decades, those folders sat cold, while a manufactured narrative was bought and sold. They suppressed the lab reports, buried the text, never caring who was broken or who would be next. But a braided violation is a stain that won't clean. It's the ultimate corruption.
All right, people, we got Matty coming up. Give me 1 second just to clear this stuff out of here. You know, so if you don't know who Matty is, man, go over to the W Number podcast. Doing great things over there around let me get this shit out of here. See, it's not easy doing everything by yourself, you know. Where the hell is it? There it is. We're gonna bring Matty up right now. Put two on the screen. What is going on, Matty? How you doing? Welcome, man. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? How's it sound? Can you hear me?
Yeah, oh yeah. It sounds really good. Welcome. I appreciate it. I've been checking out a lot of your content, man. I'm a big fan of what you do. You know what I mean? Keeping the guys that are locked down, in your thoughts and really helping them. And even yourself had a tough bid.
Yeah, I mean, I did 17 years. Anybody who's following my channel knows I did 17 years in adult prison. I've done, most of my childhood in juvenile detention facilities, and I know Eddie personally. I've known him for years. He's a good friend of mine. Mm, you know, Probably the least likely person that you could ever meet in jail, or prison, a maximum security prison, is for that matter, because they got him in the max. Well, they had him in the max for a long time due to level A concerns, which is something that they finally cleared up and changed those laws. So he was able to get to a medium, because he had got caught with a cell phone in Norfolk or somewhere, a while
Mhm.
back, and never could leave the max for a long time. So, finally he got down to a medium where he should have been a long time ago, because he should be in a minimum, because the guy, he was viewed as almost like not a CO, because he was a convict, he was a solid dude, but like, a staff of some sort. He wasn't, he always had a job, he was always out of trouble, you know very we called him the mayor, dude. Like, no bullshit. We called him the mayor of the max. Like, he could get shit done. If you needed like property, or if you needed fucking, a job or something in that section that he was at, like in M1. He stayed in M1 a lot, which is the orientation unit, and he got things done for people. But he was a really good man, and I read his book. Matter of fact, he gave me his book when it first came out to read, and I was probably among the first people to read that book. And I think it's great, a great book, and it's a great cause what you're doing, man. Any type of injustice, especially in our own state, things right under our own nose that we do have control of, we should definitely be trying to, help. And people have a
Yo,
very
bro, like, and now we got part two of the book out, the extended edition with 10 more chapters. A lot of stuff that we found out from podcasts, like the third party culprit. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't even
About
read it, so I got to go check that out for sure.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It got 10 more chapters added to it. And everything you said about Eddie was everything that I actually hear myself. I mean, I think they thought prison was gonna crush a boy like Eddie, somebody that throw him in Walpole, a place that's made to the Charlie Chases, made to destroy the toughest guys, the toughest, baddest people.
I can tell you this, that the Massachusetts Department of Corrections, especially once you're out of any type of like medium or like any lower security, when you're in the max, you are no longer considered rehabilitative. You're no longer on the list of people for, that they're trying to really help. You know what I mean? You're a forgotten soul. You're someone that they're trying to crush. They're trying to break your spirit. They're trying to break your soul. They employ all kinds of tactics such as torture, legit torture methods. And I'm not exaggerating about that. I've been thrown in suicide watch cells when I'm not suicidal, butt naked, my face smashed in, right? You know, while I was in handcuffs, and sat there and laughed at, sprayed with mace, and beaten, you know what I mean? Like, throughout periods of weeks at a time. Like, these are things that we do right here in our own country, and these are facts. You know what I mean? These are things that I've been through myself, and it sucks because the society at large and the community at large tends not to believe those who have been incarcerated, and tends not to believe those who've been in trouble. But I can promise you that I'm a Christian man now. I've changed my life around completely and 100%. And my view on the law and my view on the way the community should be running out here is much different than the one I had growing up, because the one I had growing up was anti-establishment, anti-law. If you asked me back then, I would have told you, and I would have definitely fought for zero policing at all. Like, we can police our own communities, right? And I think it would be almost better still if we could get that down pat right now, but we can't. And the laws aren't changing anytime soon. So I feel like my view towards police is they should do better. You know what I mean? They need to do better, because not only are they doing things like, where Eddie, a person who I believe is, innocent, or they could have done a lot more to prove that he was guilty, which is like, questioning the guy that lost his keys in the backyard. Fucking, who's that dude, right? Like, why was he not prime suspect number one at first? You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense how they came to the conclusion Eddie was absolutely guilty during that trial, with the evidence that they brought up. But yeah.
Well, because at that time, if you remember, and I'm 50 something, and when I was going to the can when Eddie was going into, and it was a super predator time. They wanted to change the juvenile laws. They wanted to close the juvenile buildings, waive everybody to the max, waive all these kids, to the prison system. And Riley ran for attorney general right after Eddie got convicted. And years later, we're finding paperwork that's coming up years later, like the DNA test. The DNA excluded Eddie. Eddie's not on the victim, and he's not on the murder weapon.
No, I already know. Yeah, no, go ahead. My fault. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking in my head, like, you're right about a lot of that shit. And I think a lot of people know this stuff too. And what's discouraging about it is that we have like district attorneys and people that are willing to throw somebody in prison for the rest of their life without making absolutely sure that the right person is in that chair, based on their own motivations of what they want for their lives. You know what I mean? Like they have ambition. They want to be this, they want to be that after, you know what I mean? So they're going to make a big point out of this, but like, they're not, making 100% sure they got the right people in that chair. It's all about them. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Stephen Pina just exonerated. His star witness was coming from the psych unit.
Yeah. I'm interviewing him next week.
Coming from Taunton Hospital.
Yeah. And congratulations to him, man. Salute to him, bro. 32 years and some change. I mean, I know he knows everything down to the minute, but he just got exonerated, like you said. I'm interviewing him next week, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, Steven's a good dude, man. And that the stress of being on probation with something like that over your head, I can attest to the fact that it's very stressful and that it is not living your life to the fullest, right? You can't live your life to the fullest while you have a life sentence hanging over your head, and they could pull the rug out from underneath you at any minute, whatever they feel like. You know what I mean?
No, right. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about Eddie a lot more, but Matty runs the W Number podcast. I mean, this dude, he pulls up to shelters, courthouses, blocks that nobody else wants to visit, like what you and your boy did. And God bless his sister. Them stories was really, really touching me, because them are really people down there in Mass Ave, man. And the torture that's going on down there, and the stuff that, like, shout out to you, man. You really holding it down, bro.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. And whoever's just gifted you 50 memberships, that's fucking crazy. That's huge. I wish someone would do that on
my great mod, Denise Noel. Yo, we got the best chats over here, bro. Like, these people are so good, and they really care about justice, Matty, and we have a lot of people that are big fans of yours. Aunt Jerry, you know what I mean? Eddie's family. I tried to send you an email to get you over to Somerville last week, but we definitely gonna stay in touch. What do you have going on next on the W Number?
So, man, kid, dude,
don't give us too much. Give us a sizzler. What do you got coming up?
So, my fault. Damn, there's a lot. I have a lot. I have so much content that I've already recorded right now. I can't. I'm like, really, I want to drop it right now because there's a lot of things I think people deserve and need to see like ASAP. You know what I mean? Things that are threatening our community to the fullest. You know, not little things. We're talking about loss of life, not by accident either. We're talking about the most vulnerable people in our state, in our country, being targeted by predators who are not only making money off them but discarding them when they feel like they've used up their purpose in for them. You know what I mean? And it's disgusting, dude, right? Because gangsters used to have a moral compass, dude, at least a code that they stuck to, right? And if you look at any solid gangster, even if think about and picture in your head, right? When you think of like a gangster, like a Latin king or a blood or like a mobster, like an Italian mobster, and then think about them out on Mass Ave selling hot shot bags of dope to, you know, prostitutes who they have spent the last year brutalizing, raping, and enslaving to them. You know what I mean? Running them into debt so they can't free themselves from the area, but unless they pay that debt. And even if they pay it, I feel like they're not letting them go like that, right? It's just a really, really scary thing for a lot of those girls. But one of the things that we did was we confronted some of those people, and we've got some some seriously angry reactions that we're gonna see in the next one. But as far as why I haven't dropped it yet is I want answers, real answers, and we're gonna get those answers before this video is dropped, right? And even if it takes me a year to film this documentary, it's gonna take a year. I don't give a shit. But I will drop pieces in the meantime, just to, let people know what's going on, where I can and where it's safe for the people involved to do that, right? But one thing I want to make clear too is that I'm not like working with any law enforcement agencies. Matter of fact, they will not talk to me. They don't want me in the area. They are not approving of what we're doing, right? They are totally against it, and we're doing this because they're not doing what they're supposed to, bro.
I know they don't. And I seen you down and be like, yo, I'm no punk. You said to somebody, you know what I mean? Like, don't play me. But no, I actually noticed they were following you. You had people coming up to you. They was so selling dope, like they had a license.
Yeah. It is a license down there. And I'll tell you this, right? I interviewed the president of U-Haul yesterday, and or not yesterday, a couple days ago. And then right after, a whole bunch of shady shit happened, dude, right? And so I'm really just like, I'm not sure what to think of it yet, which is why, like I'm saying, we need answers. Before I put this out, I need to make sure that I'm not acting like a DA and worried about my own ambition enough where I would throw other lives under the bus in order to get where I need to go and screw everything else in between. No, I'm trying to do the real right thing, which is like really, making sure that we're doing the right thing, and we're not making any mistakes here. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want anybody to get viewed as something they're not, if that's the case. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my goal, right? So
well, I gotta tell people, I'm not here to solve crimes. I'm here to bring stuff to the forefront, expose the stuff that's going on.
Right. I mean, if I have to solve a crime in this case, I will go against everything I was ever born into. You know what I mean? Because I was basically born into life. Like, honestly, I can't say that both my parents are good people, right? But I feel like the devil is claiming souls at a young age. You know what I mean? Like, he attaches on to kids. You know what I mean? First thing, you start getting high, and then you start running with the wrong crowd. Then you're in juvie, and then you're, trying to be like them. And, you never really see a way out. It's, you're in it from such a young age that you don't see a way out, right? And it's crazy because Eddie wasn't even like that. Eddie was a total good kid, and he just got
Eddie was a great
the
kid,
wrong
man.
place, wrong time.
He's still a big good kid.
Yeah, he is, dude. But I was wrapped up into it. I feel like at a young age, I feel like the devil clung to my soul, and it took me a long time to get him off of my soul. But I think this is the same thing that's happening to most of the kids in our country who end up in this type of lifestyle, and we don't see it as that. We don't see it as a spiritual war, or we don't see it as a battle against good and evil. We see it as, the oppressed versus the rich and things like that. We have so many different categories of fight that we label it as, but what the true reality is, that evil is evil no matter which angle it's coming from. You know what I mean? It could be, you know, through drugs, through addictions, through you know, us lying to ourselves that we're doing this for a good thing, or we're, you know, it's just any way the devil could get in, that's what we're fight. That's what you got to fight against. You know what I mean? Any way the evil could get in, bro. And I understand not everybody's religious, but that, I mean, shit, good and bad's good and bad, whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not, dude, you know. But
No, right. Like I tell people, you know, that not like some people will say, well, you chose to do that, so you got to do your time. And I tell people, not everybody chooses crime. Sometimes crime chooses you.
fact. I'm
You know
gonna
what I
share
mean?
this out right now to let people know that I'm here. They maybe they'll tap in.
Yeah, for sure, man. So you're gonna yeah, go ahead, do that. You know what I mean? Everybody go check out the W Number podcast while Matty's doing that. I mean, Matty's definitely building bridges where a lot of folks build walls. You know, a lot of folks don't want to walk down some of the alleys that, from what I've seen over on Matty's show. And he brings some real thoroughbreds on his show, man. He brought, you know, the guys of Charlestown. He did some great Somerville stories. Go check that out. Shout out to Courtney for the 5 gifted
Yes.
memberships, you know.
Feel free, you guys,
Denise for the,
tap into my live sometimes too and give some memberships, dude. I got a
they'll
lot
be
of good
coming.
members over
They'll
here.
be coming, man. These are great people. You know, they're gonna go over there, check out Matty, let them know, you know, your boy Mikey sent them over there.
Fact.
Yeah, man. Matty's doing great things, or I wouldn't even mess with him, you know what I mean? But I appreciate what Matty's doing, you know what I mean? And there ain't a lot of people that are trying to, you know, most people, when people get out the can, they forget about who's there, you know what I mean? And Matty is somebody, from what I see, that is not forgetting, man. And he's raising a beautiful little girl, man. You know, and when he does his lives in the daytime, he's at home. Got his little daughter with him, you know.
I'll bring her over. Hold on.
Yeah, here we go. Look at that. Matty, we're gonna get to see Matty's beautiful little daughter, you know, and it kind of warms my heart
Baby,
because
she's sleeping.
oh, she's sleeping.
Yeah,
We'll
she's
definitely get her. We'll definitely get her over another time, Matty. But yeah, I think you're doing great things. So you're about to interview Miss Rollins.
Yes, today.
Nice, very interesting. She's somebody that hopefully, you know, she's gonna bring good change, because I think we definitely need change, you know. And something that somebody else mentioned, they said they brought up the Karen Reed trial, they brought up the Sandra Birchmore trial, you know, and a couple other trials. And the guy that's running for Michael Morrissey's spot says not everybody has the status as a Karen Reed. You know what I mean? Like privilege, somebody, and you know, these people get lost in the system. We don't have big Alan Jackson attorneys and stuff, and I think people are starting to see.
Did you just say Big Al? Like Alvin Campbell? Did you say his name? That's what you just said, Big Al? My fault. I was listening.
No.
I heard. But have you ever heard of that case, Big Alvin Campbell? Alvin Campbell?
I'll check it out. I might have.
Wow, that's a fucked up one too. These are the type of cases,
you know.
Yeah, man. I think I might do a video on that too, because his sister was like, you know, she was an important person in Massachusetts, right? Because of who she was, he was able to be an Uber driver while he was, you know, essaying his customers, right? And for a long time, he kept on getting away with it, even though the women would come forward and tell on him, right? His sister would get it brushed under the rug. Oh, it'll never happen again. Keeps happening. Now Alvin Campbell. If you look up Big Alvin Campbell, right, you're gonna see what happened after when he got caught, bro. That shit's crazy, dude.
Yeah, no, definitely check out the case. The Michael Proctor thing, you know, I mean, Michael Proctor is just a dirty person. And another case that I was going over, the Justin Root case, is somebody that was gunned down by the police. Michael Proctor investigated this. Now, Michael Proctor, if you know who I'm talking about, he was recently fired
Mm,
He was the lead detective in the Karen Reed case, and this poor
yeah.
kid was shot like 30 something times after they already shot him.
Jeez.
Justin Root, so there's so many cases out there that are just like just horrible. So many people need justice. Eddie Wright got justice. He got his conviction overturned. Another guy locked
Yeah,
down
Eddie, right?
40
I know Eddie very
years.
well. Eddie's my friend. Yeah, and you know who else? TG. You know TG? Um, dang, I forget his real name.
I'm from RI, so
Gaskins. Tony
you know.
Gaskins. I
Oh,
think he's
okay,
flipping his case too. He's flipping a life bid too. But this is Alvin Campbell right here. This dude.
okay, all right. Do you know Jojo Burho
I've heard. Yeah. Joe. Wait. Which one's
from
Joe?
Charlestown?
Yeah. Yep.
Jojo's
Absolutely.
on the show all the on time.
Okay.
Another big
Um.
Eddie O'Brien
Yeah, I've heard
supporter.
his
You
name.
know,
I
a
think
lot of
you reached
people over
out.
here free Eddie.
Yeah, and they should be. I think that he needs to be free. There's no reason to have that man in jail. If you guys knew how he acted while he was in there, perfect, upstanding human being. Never, I don't really see him getting in trouble. No fights, nothing, dude. The worst thing he did was he had a cell phone. And let's face it, dude, anybody in America, if you have the opportunity to get a cell phone, you're gonna fucking get a cell phone. Like what they do is they charge you with escape charges in there so that you get level aid, which means that you can never leave the max. And that's what happened to him after he got caught with his cell phone. He ended up in the max for a long time. So when you like look him up and you see he's in a maximum security prison, it's like you think automatically like, oh, he must be a bad convict or something. But like, no, he's up there, just being
And
a
when
good
you
dude,
look over
man.
Eddie's prison record, he's got 7 write-ups in 31 years.
That's nothing.
You know what I
That's
mean?
nothing.
Like 7 write-ups in 30, and the cell phone is the worst one. And they didn't mention that. I think 60 other people got caught with cell phones during that raid.
Yeah. I mean, a ton of people did. Norfolk had a problem with, so the canteen officer in Norfolk was bringing in K2 cell phones, mad different shit through the canteen. She got busted by the FBI. The FBI did a sting on her the day of canteen, and when she was dropping off the truck, boom, raided the truck and found all this stuff in there. And but they also had COs got caught. Fucking then one of the kids from Naughty Block in Hyannis got caught with a cell phone. And they charged him with a federal charge because of what he was saying on the cell phone. So like that's how they figured it out. I think at first was they were just listening to one of the people they were monitoring on the streets, and boom, they get a cell phone call coming from inside Norfolk State Prison, and they're like, huh, how the hell is this going on? And then everything got tied in after that.
Even the crime scene technician that was on Eddie's case a few years later got grabbed by the FBI.
Wow. For what?
Well, the FBI went in there. Her and the Pino guy, they were holding on to people's blood work like rapists until their statue ran out. You know what I mean? They were basically getting away with it. Her name was Mary Kate. It was all over the news.
Wow.
At the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab.
That's
And
crazy.
she's the one and what she did is on her original report, on her notes, she had the original blood work. And on her final report, she switched it up to make it look like Eddie O'Brien's blood was mixed with the victims. And they hid the friggin' paperwork until years later.
Wow.
When Eddie did a FOIA request, we got the notes from the district attorney, bro. It was a blueprint how they set Eddie up. I could send you a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? And
yeah, definitely send it to me. I want to look into some things. And I also remember I told you I wanted to do a video, like a full video documentary on Eddie's case. I think a lot of times those types of documentaries need to be, come to the case needs to come to a full conclusion before that type of shit happens. But which sucks because I want to shed some light on his case. But doing what you're doing the way you're doing it right here, that's perfect because you know what I mean? You could talk about it as it goes on, and that's right. How it needs to happen. If Eddie, so Eddie was 15 when he caught his case, right? The murder happened in Somerville, 1995.
He's 46 now.
Yup, and there's the reason why this was political. I think it is because there's a very specific reason people describe his case as political, and that doesn't like establish that he was innocent or that politicians framed him. It means like his prosecution became intertwined with a major political fight over juvenile crime and punishment, which is something I don't think people really understand, is like why this became so political and why, like, what Thomas Riley's real motivational factors were for this situation. And
He was to
he
become
was running,
governor.
yeah, he was running for the Middlesex County DA. Riley personally prosecuted O'Brien and fought to have him tried as an adult. When a juvenile court judge initially refused to transfer O'Brien to adult court, I'm reading some of this from reports, news reports and things like that I have, and then tying it into my brain what I know about it. But the Supreme Judicial Court won a new transfer hearing, and O'Brien was eventually tried as an adult, which is something I don't agree with. It's either you're an adult or you're not an adult. You're a juvenile. You act with the reason why there's a distinguishment there is because your brain is not fully developed. You know what I mean? And so like you can't pick and choose whose brain's more developed at that age or not, bro. Like you're a kid. You should be tried as juvenile if you're a juvenile. They should, if they want to extend the time frames that they could use as juvenile, you know what I mean? Then that's what they should do. But like, you know, there's so many laws in this country, like they're black and white. They act like they can't change them, even though they're totally. Penelope, can you turn that down, please? Or go in the other room. Thank you. I forget a little bit. Saying my fault. Damn. I forget what I was saying, anyways. But
Look up the baby, huh?
yeah.
See that judge that they originally took off the case, they took him off the case because they wanted him to switch his stance. He said Eddie should be tried as a juvenile because he fit all the criteria, and they pushed him and they tried to get him to change his mind. Old school judge from Charlestown, and he just wouldn't. And Riley appealed it, because
you remember back then during that same time period in like the 1990s, like the early 1990s, when they were talking about, and this is mentioned in his book too, the super predator juveniles that were like, they were, basically they were saying they were committing, egregious, heinous crimes because they knew they wouldn't get charged as adults. So they were becoming these like super predators, bro. Right. Which was like, all wording to sensationalize and cause panic and fear and then push new laws and things like, and that's what it always comes down to, is like the most extreme wording, you know what I mean? And the most extreme ways to phrase these things, like to make the public want to do what they want. You know what I mean? The Massachusetts politicians were debating tougher juvenile laws. Like they wanted tougher laws for these juveniles. And, Eddie came right in at a time where they could, frame it like they're not going after young black youth. They're just going to go after everybody, even if they're a rich little white kid from fucking who's a choir boy. You know what I mean?
Right. No, they didn't want to look racist, Right.
So they were able to use this situation, like the super predator fucking thing, and that's literally the words they used: juvenile super predators.
Yeah,
that's what they called them. Right. And instead of making it look like they were talking about black kids from the projects, they went after Eddie, who's a choir boy from Somerville. And then they were able to get these fucking laws basically passed. That was like the whole tough on crime era. And fucking, it just doesn't, it sucks that it all happened right then and there. Eddie was an opportunity and they took it.
You're absolutely right. And, at that time, when they changed the laws, and probably still, this is the only country in the world that gave minors life without parole. When I heard that, I was kind of blown away by like the only country in the world where minors were sentenced to life without parole, and they needed little to no evidence. And I think since 1989, there's been over 100 exonerations. But why does it take 30 friggin' years?
You know what I think also was used in to get Eddie convicted wasn't any of the facts of the case. It was his unusual size and look. You know what I mean? He looked unusually young. He was a really tall kid. He had a baby face, and they called him. I think didn't they call him the babyface killer or some shit like that? Like,
Yeah, Riley had a press conference every friggin' day for 2 years.
yeah, he used this situation to the absolute fullest without any regard for whether this was true or the right man. So,
You know,
bullshit.
and Artie Ortiz, you know, there was so many questions about this guy, and for 30 years, this guy is still. Watch, when you start talking about the case, he's gonna end up in your chat.
Artie Ortiz,
He ends
so
up
he's
in
still
everybody's
popping
chat.
around. Yeah,
And he follows people around. Like his blood, the chemist said, the blood is either a relative of Janet Downing's or Artie Ortiz. Artie Ortiz was there very fast when the crime happened. How did he know? My wife told me. How'd your wife know? Janet's daughter that wasn't even at the house told her. How'd
Right.
she know? There's
Right.
just so many crazy narratives, you know, and I don't know if Artie did it, but I know Artie had something knowing about it, something to do with it, you know, but Eddie should be free. I mean, the DNA excludes him, right? The blood work excludes him. He took an Amatol test, a truth serum test, and
Did he really?
passed it.
Wow, I didn't
Yep.
even know that. Yeah, and they're
He
not.
took
You
a
know, it's
truth
funny.
serum.
They're not allowed to use those in court. I think that, you know, and this is one of the narratives that I've been trying to push. It's not a narrative; it's a fact that they don't allow things that we all know should be allowed. Like he's a 15-year-old kid taking a truth serum, like a truth test, and he passes it. What is the point of doing that if you can't use it in court?
Exactly. And I guarantee if that would have went the other way, they would have used it.
It would have been public knowledge. You know, people would have been able to make decisions based upon it. Probably, you know, the jurors, you know, they say don't watch the news, don't pay attention, but like who the fuck doesn't? You know what I mean? I bet you all of them do.
Oh, they all do. They all do. You know, they couldn't use it as evidence, but you could have used it in opening statement to say there was an Amatol test done and these are the results.
And like if Eddie has, so a person with no prior criminal history, right? And I get it. This is one of these crimes that, you know, sick people could probably, you know, if a kid was sick, you would do, right? I never witnessed Eddie in any way behaving in a way that you would think this kid has some hidden anger or fucking like some psychotic like inside it. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
man,
you're
what's
absolutely
that?
right. Watch
That's the
this.
Oh yeah, let's watch that. I want to see that.
You didn't hurt Janet Downing?
No,
Did you kill her?
no.
Eddie O'Brien denied the murder both before and after the drugs were administered. The prosecutor says it means nothing. He says O'Brien told different stories to the same examiner.
He never accounts for the fact that his blood is in that house. He never explains that away in the tape, and he would not have been able to explain that away at trial.
Look how big he is.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
he's a
now
big
they went
boy.
up there
That's it.
3 weeks after Eddie's in Plymouth House of Corrections. They went up there for 3 more vials of blood. And it was right around that time where they said, we found blood inside the residence. I bet you did with them 3 vials of blood.
Right.
Eddie
Let's
O'Brien
finish
was
watching
convicted
this.
this fall of murdering his neighbor Janet Downing in her home in 1995. The woman was stabbed repeatedly. Both O'Brien's and Downing's blood were found at the scene. Truth serum evidence has never been used in a criminal case in Massachusetts, nor has it been allowed in any major trial in the United States. And some criminal attorneys say there's a good reason.
Using a truth serum is an attempt to use a medical test for a determination that the jury is supposed to make. Are you telling the truth?
The doctor who administered the drug calls it reliable, saying it's been
That's
used
bullshit.
clinically for 50 years.
Every one of these things is a tool to find the truth.
Yes, absolutely. And they say that's what they used it for years ago. DAs would use it just to find information out. You know, did he really do this? You know, and I'm sure it goes back even farther than that.
It's fucking bullshit. They should use everything that they know. They should put everything on the table. When you're going in front of 15 peers and your life is at stake, everything should be used.
Absolutely. You know, and if you go to the truthabouteddieobrien.com, all the states' actual paperwork is up there, and it's just overwhelming about it's like, what was this jury thinking? You know what? The jury was petrified because they got them afraid. They got the community afraid. This kid is a monster, and nothing was allowed in. You know, the neighbor that said that Janet talked to the neighbor for like 10 hours the day she passed away. And she said, if anything happens to me, investigate Artie Ortiz.
What? Yeah,
You
I remember
know?
reading that in the book. I remember reading that. And it's so funny. It's like all these things point to this man. Like, you know, they say like serial killers and people who kill people, like they want to go back to the scene and like look, and they want to be involved in the investigation, and they, you know what I mean? And like he's doing all that shit. Like makes you think, like, what the fuck, dude?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. You know, I mean, Eddie should have been tried as a juvenile for one. You know what I mean? Judge Paul, you know, said that Eddie should be tried as a juvenile, not because he was soft, not because he was excusing the crime, because Eddie was a juvenile.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And like you said, no history of violence, no history of being
anything,
a predator, and no history of violence since. If Eddie was such a psychopath, he would have been like Chisholm. I seen your video of Chisholm. He continued to be a psychopath. Over here in Rhode Island, Craig Price. Craig Price was another serial killer. Psychopath.
Because you brought that up, right? So Philip Chisholm, somebody reached out to me who was in juvenile with him just recently and told me that he stabbed one of the staff member women there. Like that didn't get brought up on the news and things. Like this is something that he witnessed himself. So like, you know, that kid was super dangerous. You know what I mean? He was a super predator. That's the fucking word that you can use for him. You know? Yeah, fact. He was a scumbag.
And you know, and I say that because, you know, people tried to compare these two and say, oh, Eddie, if you turn your back on Eddie, he'll eat your intestines. And I was like, bro, like Eddie is a big kid. Eddie never had
he's a teddy bear
chance to be an adult. He's a big kid, and I tell people when he comes home, it's gonna take everybody to help him get acclimated. And you know, look, that episode on Chisholm is so good. It's me, Karen D143 said, nah, go to the W Number podcast. My man Matty over here has some great content. You know what I mean? And go check it out. You know, he has a lot of content. He talks to guys that were locked up. He talks to guys that were involved, you know, in it, that really experienced what it's really like.
You want to answer that or something? Yeah. Anyway, so fucking check it out, right? If you go over my channel and you do end up going over there and watching, and you see like the members only videos, and you wonder in your head, like, is this worth doing? Trust me, it's worth it, bro. I put good content on the members only. Like I save really good content specifically for the members of my channel. So yeah, it's another thing I do.
Nice. So go over there and definitely become a member. Go follow Matty. You know what I mean? Good people. And we're definitely gonna have him back over here soon. He's got a big interview coming up, so I don't want to hold you, man. But I really appreciate Matty. You know, I love everything you're doing. Don't stop. And we're gonna get together because I'm gonna put you in touch with Mr. and Mrs. O'Brien. You know what I mean? And I think that you could do a great interview with them. I'm gonna do that for you.
That would be great, man. And I would love to put this case on my channel. I like I said before, I've been meaning to do a video about this. I don't know if it was you or another channel that has been focusing on Eddie.
I hit you up and tried to get them guys hooked up with you, but they weren't interested.
Yeah, dude, it's funny because, you know, if you want to help somebody out, like, and I gave them all the like facts and reasons why this, you know, and they shot me down. I don't want to bring it up, you know, personal conversations that we had, but it's like, yeah, I feel like they didn't do the right thing there, but it is what it is, man. You know, I'm out here, I'm seeking information about Eddie to make a full and complete. I mean, I know there's so much about it already, but like, what I need is inside stuff, like the parents, like you said, like hooking me up with them, or like, you know, family members, people that were there, witnesses, things like that, that I can add all into one video, and that'd be great.
Yeah, I got you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate
You know what I
everybody,
mean?
man. You guys for listening to me today. Listen to what I have to say. Everybody who goes to check out my channel, I appreciate that too. It's
I'm gonna go
Sundays.
grab a membership today.
Thank you,
You
bro.
know, I'm gonna go over
Yeah.
there, go to W Number Podcast. You know, Matty, go check out his Mass and Cast. You know, I think that is great, great work. Good
Thank you.
work, man. Like
Yeah.
good job. Dangerous.
Very. If
You
you
know what I
only knew.
mean, even for a convict like you.
Yeah, man.
You know
If
what
you
I
only
mean?
knew, bro. It's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And the more I find out, the madder I get.
Yeah, and you
more
can see the
puzzle.
politics playing.
Oh, big time, bro. Big time. I mean, they've gone to the level of telling security to call police on us for filming, following us around, harassing us while we're doing it. Fucking like, you know, not just that, but we've been followed and chased by people on the streets, like legit, like they tried to maneuver on us, you know what I mean? Like in a way, you know, that we wouldn't get out of there, but we did, and we will. And God is on our side, bro. And I feel like this whole thing from the beginning has been put on my plate, you know, as basically like a mission from God, bro. Because people would, you know, it's like I just know, man, my faith, my belief is so strong that I that there's a serial killer down there, more than one, that is doing some really foul things, and God is angry, bro. He don't sleep,
Is that
man.
true? 18 missing females?
I don't know. No. It's not 18 missing females. It's 18 bodies that a police officer said this is the 18th one this week. He said it like this, right? So they were responding to a body, right, on Mass Ave. My contact was there. One of the cops that were responding, my contact was standing off to the side speaking to him, and in confidence, the cop turned to him and said, look, this is the 18 one this week. It's crazy. So yeah.
You got the van with the window, the white van.
That's the next one, man. So you guys got to stay tuned because things are already happening, bro. So big things.
All right, Matty,
bro.
man. Yo, shout out to you. Go check out the W Number Podcast, and I'll definitely be in touch with you soon.
Appreciate you, man.
You know
You
what I
guys
mean?
have a great day, man. And it's Sunday, so make sure all you guys get on your knees today, man, and thank that good Lord that you have a life and you have opportunities and a free will to live it the way you want to. But
Praise God, man. God is good. God is good all the time.
All right, man. You guys be good, man. God bless.
All right, God bless. That was Matty over there at the W Number Podcast. Go over there and sub to his channel, follow him. I think he does a lot of great things, and it's gonna be nice because we got someone else that's gonna talk about the Eddie O'Brien stuff, you know, and yeah, man, go over there and check out his stuff on Mass and Cap. He's Matty really did a deep dive, and I'm glad Matty was able to come on the show today. What do you guys think, man? Huh? We getting somewhere here, you know what I mean? Maybe we don't have all the hundreds and hundreds of people watching at once, man. But shout out to Eddie because I think good things are coming. You know, Regina Mahoney, great people. You know, we got so many great people here, man. Shout out to my top mod, my friend, someone that I developed a great friendship with, Miss Denise Noel 43. I am so blessed. Even without the beautiful 70 members today, I love you for that. I'm just blessed to have a friend like Denise who has been so helpful in this Free Eddie mission, gives me good advice. You know what I mean? When I get down, tells me a couple things, you know what I mean? Like, what a good person, good friend to my wife. You know, big Ed O'Brien, big Eddie Snacks. You know, nice man. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't think of a nicer guy, man. Like, he's like a big teddy bear, right? And how about Trish O'Brien, man? What can I say about Mama OB, man? You know, very, very nice. What she goes through where her son, no mother should have to go through that. You know what I mean? But so many great people meeting Jessica O'Brien, you know, Eddie's sister, and meeting Bob and Teresa and Sherry Lee. My God. So many great, great people, and we can't wait to have another fundraiser, have another event. And that event, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be on the ball, and I'm going to start digging into my healings and talking about this wrongful eviction shit right here, because you always find the same shit. Bad evidence, bad assumptions, bad actors in the crime lab. So much shit going on. You know, this whole day it threw me off track. Mama gonna be coming home soon. It's her birthday. You know, imagine after on 30 years, Eddie only has what? 7 disciplinary reports. Not 70, not 17, 7. Imagine that. That's unheard of for someone who entered the DOC at 15 years old. You know, in 2007 and 2010, he got into a couple fights over a fan. Another inmate kept turning it off. Everyone else wanted it on. So there was a scuffle with a CO. Don't think it's that crazy, right? Eddie and the officer described it as horseplay, not violence. Other people turned it into a big deal. I mean, stuff like that, minor shit. Being in another inmate's cell for a moment, possession of radio with a broken seal, talking back, shit like that. The cell phone incident, that was the biggest. DOC just blew that up. They love to exaggerate. Eddie had a cell phone and a charger. Big deal. He used it to call his parents. Big deal, right? DOC labels it as escape paraphernalia, like Matty was talking about. Even though their own investigation found no evidence of any escape plans, right? He wasn't criminally charged, right? He had to go to the hole. He loses his phone privileges, his visit privileges. But his last disciplinary report was like 13 or 15 years ago. That's it. No weapons, no drugs, no gangs, no buns. You know what I mean by no buns. No assaults, no chaos. Eddie has zero history of substance abuse. Zero history. No drug use. He's not an alcoholic. He's not a junkie. I heard a rumor that he had 1 sip of alcohol on his birthday in 03 or 04. Not sure how, I don't know if that's a true rumor. But 1 sip. He deserved that, right? No urines during the process. So, I mean, Eddie stayed clean in a system where substances are everywhere. Another thing, no gang affiliation. None. Not suspected, not rumored. None. He surrounded himself with smart people. He surrounded himself with stand-up people that weren't about the drama. That's right. And people made sure nobody was going to fuck with Eddie. You know what I mean? He had some stand-up guys that took him under his wing. And you think they would have done that if he was a friggin', out here with the charges that Eddie had? I wanted to play this song from Matty, so Matty, if you're still tapped in, this song it tells the story about the politics.
courtroom lights, truth's gonna bend. Heffernan standing tall, trying to defend. Said it looked bad on paper, but it's all deeper. Politics lurking, call it a grim reaper. Eddie was just a kid, caught in the fray, but the power players had a game to play. From day one, they wanted him to fall. A kid in the spotlight, crushed by it all. Heffernan knew the truth. No, it ain't fair. Politics behind the scenes, no one would care. Guilty or innocent, the verdict was set. Justice wasn't blind, it was a political bet. Dr. Bonham was chosen, thought he would be right, a face of fairness in that long, dark night. But the DA smiled wide, played both sides slick. Heffernan thought neutral, but maybe that's the trick. Eddie's fate sealed with a stroke of a pen. My ruling was sound, but the world turned again. They needed him guilty to fit their plan, change the laws mid-game. Oh, what a scam! Heffernan knew the truth. No, it ain't fair. Politics behind the scenes, no one would care. Guilty or innocent, the verdict was set. Justice wasn't blind, it was a political bet. The juvenile court, he should have stayed there. 20 years, not a slap, but no one would care. System in panic cause he stood his ground, but the wheels of justice just turned him around. They wanted Eddie down, they wanted him lost. With the stakes so high, he paid the cost. Heffernan's truth reigned clear in the dark. Tried to bring light, but it missed the mark. Eddie, a kid caught in a game, lost in the shuffle, society's shame. So here's a lesson carved deep as stone. Justice shouldn't wear a political tone. Heffernan stood firm, knew it wasn't just. In a world focused on power, who can you trust? Heffernan knew the truth. No, it ain't fair. Politics behind the scenes, no one would care. Guilty or innocent, the verdict was set. Justice wasn't blind, it was a political bet. So let's remember as the story unfolds, the tales of the innocent, the truth yet told. Heffernan knew the truth, and it cuts like a knife in the courtroom of power. What's the cost of a life?
Well, I wanted to play that song for Matty. You know, if you listen to that song, Matty, you go back and play it. It basically breaks down the politics. And I own the song, so go ahead, play them, put them on your show. You can use this content as well, Matty. You know what I mean? You have a lifetime permission, so you could use this content, use any of my songs. You know, yeah, shout out Free Eddie. You know, but you know, I wanted to talk about something, you know, and if you're going to be around, Matty, there's some good information I'm about to put out here, you know, because a lot of people say, why Artie Ortiz? Why is everyone on Artie? Because Artie lied a lot. And Artie has no accountability, and not the kind people pretend to have, like on Facebook Lives and shit, his fake ass shit, but the kind that people sprinkle into these podcasts. Oh, I did this to myself. Yes, you did do it to yourself, Artie. But when it comes to the Janet Downing case, Artie Ortiz has been running from that mirror for 31 years. And every time Artie tells the story changes like a busted ass transmission, right? 1 minute he's clean the night. The next minute Janet had cat hair on her. Suddenly it's kitten hair. Then it's a friggin' dog, Artie. And then you've been following Janet. You followed Gina around. You found the mysterious book that disappeared. People say you were selling dope out of her basement. You refused to give her the keys back. You tried to get into the crime scene to get your keys. Then you got the taxi cab when people said was dripping blood all the way up Hamlet Street. Like a horror movie nobody else saw. And that was kept from the judge. A lot of things was kept from the judge. Look at that. There it goes. Whoa. All the way up Hamlet Street. But the judge didn't want to hear that, right? You know what doesn't change, Artie? The truth. And the truth is, Artie's stories never lined up with each other. Artie's stories never lined up with the evidence. Artie's story never lined up with reality. And that's the problem with a lot of you guys. You got reality all fucked up in your head. Because when your timeline has more costume changes than a Beyonce tour, that's not bad luck. That's you. And you know something about tours. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody has damaged Artie more than Artie. Artie goes on podcasts. He goes on the JFK show. He goes on live streams. He goes in chats. He talks and talks and talks and talks. He won't shut up. And every time he opens his mouth, he adds another contradiction to the pile of shit that he's standing in. And if silence is golden, right? Artie's interviews are aluminum foil. They're loud. They're cringy. They're useless. You said it yourself. The serology comes back relative to Janet or Artie, right? It don't come back to Eddie. Not the kid they threw away. Yeah, that Eddie. Of course, that Eddie. Someone did that to Janet, and it wasn't Eddie. The serology test said it's not Eddie. The DNA test said it's not Eddie. So what? You having trouble getting by? Eddie got jumped, right? Eddie did get jumped. The two guys came forward. And it was Eddie that didn't want to ID them guys. And if he would have cut himself in the house, bro, don't you think he would have bled on Janet with his O blood? Yeah, O. A-O. So you say, get my story straight. Listen, Artie, double down, triple down. Then he starts inventing new animals like he was auditioning for the Animal Planet. It was a cat. It was a kitten. It was a chihuahua. It was a ferret. Now, let me tell you, and the way he acted after Janet was taken out. You forget this part, right, people? It's not just what happened that night. It's what happened after. the lies, the bullshit, the inconsistencies, the change in detail, the way he inserted himself into these narratives that didn't need him. The way he tried to steer suspicion, right? While pretending that he's not steering anything. Like, Artie, you should have just like kept your nose out of it, but you kept putting your nose into this investigation for 31 years. And when you keep showing up to the story, even when no one asked you to be in the story, that's not coincidence, bro. Yeah, and hit that like button. Stop bull crapping. And can I get some memberships? Give some memberships, please. Please. You can't be innocent when you keep adding new lies, bro. I wasn't even sure to come on and talk about anything. I said, I really don't have nothing to talk about. I'm just rehashing all of this stuff. But you know what? There's always something to talk about with Eddie O'Brien. You know what I mean? Because no matter what, that's right, hit the like button. No matter what, I'll never flip-flop. I will never flip-flop, man. And even if some shit did go bad and shit, and I wasn't talking to Eddie, you know what? I would just keep promoting it. You know what I mean? Because nobody deserves to be in prison. Nobody. Look at what homeboy did at the Clayton County Prison. We got to go over that video. Oh, Matty, I seen you in one of his videos. Tommy, I seen you in one of Tommy's videos. Yep, but every time someone checks Artie's facts, right, it just falls apart. Right? You're not misremembering. And look, let me show you all something. Where is it? Evidence. Let's go to evidence, right? All right, so let me show you where I am, people, because I want you all to be able to see it. Check this out. Hang on. When I get big time, you know what I mean? I'm going to have somebody that could do this for me. Now, what we're looking at now is, this is the truthabouteddieobrien.com website, right? So come over here, and I think you go into evidence, right? And come up to the serology test, right? Go to serology. We're going to click at that. Now, right here, this is just, you know, blah, blah, blah. This is what it is. Report number 3, examination of material in connection with, you know, a fatal stabbing. Now, Eddie received this stuff, you know, with, you know, a lot of his, you know, actually, this didn't, I don't think this came 2 years later. He got this later on, like way down the line, right? So let's see. We have Trooper Duggan. Okay. Now, yeah, see this right here? It shows the name of the person. You got Janet, Eddie O'Brien, Paul Downing Sr., Artie, Ryan, and Paul. And right here, it has their, oh, okay, right here, it has their blood type. Eddie O'Brien is a O. Right? Janet was a AB. The father was A. Artie was B. Ryan Downing was A. And Paul was B. Right? Now, sample description. When we move down to the next box, it's going to say Item 6, right shin, Eddie O'Brien, right? Blood type, AB. Whoa, AB. Wait a minute, no. Eddie is O. So how is the blood type on Eddie's shin AB? So let's go over here to possible single source. Possible single source for the blood on Eddie's knee is Janet Downing, right? Possible contributors is look at this. Possible contributors to the blood on the shin. AO. Who's AO? Artie Ortiz. PD. Paul Downing. RD. Ryan Downing. PDS. Paul Downing Sr. Well, how about the front floor, right? With the bathroom and the front door, right? Possible single source. They have Eddie O'Brien right there. Possible contributor, Paul Downing. Right? Another one, Paul Downing. The threshold by the front door. Janet Downing, Paul Downing Sr., Paul Downing and Ryan. Eddie is in none of these except for right here, inside front door, where he said he grabbed the door and he pushed it shut. You know what I mean? You look over here on the fourth stair. What? Possible contributor, Paul Downing, Ryan Downing. Where is the blood pool of blood, right? The pool of blood, Paul Downing and Ryan Downing. Janet Downing, Paul Downing Sr. as possible contributors. Like, what am I saying here? And here's another one. Here's one that they argued about, right? The picture of grapes. It was AB blood. Right? Single source was Janet. And it still didn't come back anywhere near Eddie's blood. So Eddie's blood is not a possible contributor to like none of this stuff. None of it. And this is the state's own friggin' paperwork. This is the state's own paperwork. You know, and Eddie O'Brien is not a contributor at all. You know, he's not a contributor to the DNA, not a contributor to the blood, not to the crime, not to the murder. And I'll break down anyone's case like this. Just give me the paperwork, give me some time. And I ain't saying that because I think I'm all intelligent and shit, but I could read some legal work, you know? But I'm saying this because the lab says it, the science says it, the forensics says it. You know, the Commonwealth don't say it, but they're testing the stuff done by the very own lab, right? Whose report you're looking at right now says Eddie is excluded. And they still got a friggin' conviction, right? Imagine that. Not a contributor. Excluded. That means exactly what it sounds like, right? When a forensic chemist writes, not a contributor, they're not being poetic. They're not Tupac. They're not Keefy D. They're not being vague. They're not being cautious. They're like, yo, no pot. He's out. But he was out until he wasn't. The crime scene DNA didn't point to Eddie either. It pointed away from Eddie O'Brien. And that's why this shit is so effed up. Multiple samples tested. Multiple blood extracted, right? Multiple swabs taken. This is your Commonwealth, people. And Eddie's DNA, some people are probably not even surprised. Eddie's DNA excluded. You want to see that too? Okay. Watch this shit. This shit is crazy. Right here, the pretrial hearing, right? This form I'm going to show you right now. Yeah, make it work. He said, find something small and blow it out of proportion. Make it work. It's crazy the amount of evidence the O'Briens have against the Commonwealth. Shh. It makes me so mad. The real evidence not consistent. A kid's life. And it gets me mad too because people are basically telling me that when they say all this stuff about Artie, I'm kind of like, yo, like, what am I? I'm like, what am I, a fucking liar? Am I a piece of shit or something? Excuse my language, but am I a liar? Am I making this shit up? Am I talking just to talk? The Commonwealth knew this shit and they friggin' hid it. The prosecutors knew Eddie wasn't a contributor. They had the friggin' reports, bro. They had the exclusions. They had the friggin' science, but instead of admitting, right, the evidence didn't match the friggin' theory, right? They leaned on fear. Oh, poor me, huh? They leaned on politics, the super predator bullshit. They didn't build a case. They built a story. I'm so amped up right now. Can you notice? They're all over it, but until Eddie is free, no. And I'm with you, man. Thank you, Mike, and all of Eddie's supporters. Look, Ed, I'm there, man. No flip flopping. I promise you. I promise, as a man, no flip flopping, Ed. No matter what happens, at the end, I'll be there to shake Eddie's hand. I'll be there to stand side by side with you and watch Eddie walk out that door. I will be so happy when that day comes. But I don't got 6 years, man. We don't have 6 years to wait. What's this? Huh? I don't have no money till mommy gets home. No, you don't need to be buying nothing. Don't waste your money. You need that money. You spent your money? Oh my God. Spending it with the neighbors on a yard sale. I can only imagine that's a great depiction of the cab, just exaggerated. Of course it is. Of course. And you know what? I made so many great friends, man. You know, it was when I shook hands with Mr. O'Brien, I felt it. I felt like, I don't know, you feel a connection when you meet somebody. No bullshit. You know what I mean? You could just feel, like that's a good man. You know what I mean? You could just, some people can feel it. Oh, Erin be going at it with Artie, Shout out to Erin, man. Erin stands up for free Eddie, man. She stands up for free Eddie. Hey, Big Ed, we had the W Number podcast on earlier. You got to go back and watch it. I told him I'm going to get you on his show to talk about Eddie. I think he's going to be able to help us out a lot. You know, so yeah, I think that was very, very good. Jerry was in the chat, you know, but I'm definitely going to put this on members only, you know, because we got a lot of new members today. Big thank you, Denise, man. I so needed that. Like, oh my God. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That is actually how I imagined the cab working. Yeah, maybe not quite so much blood, right? Maybe not quite so much blood. Well, what did I do? I started the show off talking about, what was I calling it? Nancy Clancy. I screwed that up. Big shout out to Patricia White for correcting me. You know, and I talked about Lindsay Clancy a little bit, you know. Maybe not the best opinion, you know. That evidence alone should have been enough. Absolutely. But it was an agenda. It was a friggin' agenda. It makes me so mad the real evidence not considered. A kid's life has taken wrongly. What the pick, Massachusetts? Absolutely, man. Rule 30 coming very, very soon. Oh, and it's a very nice, very nice. Keep talking, Mikey. Thank you, thank you. Sometimes I feel like, they don't want to hear me talk. They don't like, I don't know. I don't know if I got anything to say today, but I think that the Commonwealth has to know that we're coming, you know, and we're letting people know that Eddie wasn't a contributor, right? We're letting people know that they held the reports, right? We're letting people know that they held the exclusions, right? That they held the science. And this is all a fact. And how can you not be upset at that? How can we not all be on the same side? But instead, right? But instead, what? We got to admit, right, that the evidence didn't match the theory? That they leaned on fear and politics? And the super predator narrative? Why does that sound crazy? Does that sound really, really crazy? I'm curious. And then we talk about, like, how about the dude that got fired at the lab? And you heard what Matty said, how Eddie made prison better. Have I not been saying that? And when people hear Eddie's prison record, they imagine chaos, fights, gangs, bullshit. But not his record. Not his record. Listen, if you're just joining us, man, listen, there's memberships out there to grab. We're going to catch some people coming up in here. Oh, yeah, I was talking about this a little bit earlier. At the pretrial hearing, Eddie's attorney filed a motion to compel the production of hair blood samples of Paul Downing Sr., Paul Downing Jr., Ryan Downing, Carrie Ann Downing, and Artie Ortiz. The district attorney was in possession of their hair and blood. Eddie's attorney wanted to compare their hair, blood, and DNA with the hair, blood, and DNA found at the crime scene, right? The ADA objected to this motion, and the judge denied the motion to compel. Turn over the samples to Eddie's attorney. Paul Downing Sr., Jr., Ryan, and Artie could not be excluded as possible contributors for some blood samples. Could not be excluded. Right? That was collected at the crime scene during the serology testing. DA Tom Riley never sent the blood samples to Cellmark Lab to compare their DNA to the blood found at the scene. Case closed. Bang. Karen Alone, stated by Todd McGee. You know, that's my nickname, McGee, but it's spelled Magee. Swear to God. All my life. The feeling is mutual. Oh, wifey be home soon. I'm supposed to be getting the dishes done. I'm supposed to be getting the chorizo and peppers cooked, cleaning the grill. I'm over here slacking, getting the bouncy house set up. Damn, but I got so much stuff I want to get over. But yeah, man, listen, everyone, go check out Matty's podcast. You know, I'm glad Matty had the chance to stop in here today. He's about to interview, you know, Miss Rowland, who's running for district attorney in Suffolk County, I believe. You know, so go over there, check out Matty's page. You know, he has the W number podcast on holding it down across the Commonwealth, doing great, great things. You know, so we want to welcome Matty, you know, yeah, we want to welcome them to the show today and give him, you know, real support if you're watching on the replay, you know, and go over to his channel and be like, yo, Mikey from Can We Keep It Real sent me over here. You know, he wants to know if you got a ramen soup, you know, and he'll give you back some postage stamps. That's how it used to work. You know, but like I said earlier, man, I started the show talking about Janet. Oh, look at that. Yo, gotta love it, man. You know, it's my sister from another mister, Freebird. What's up, Freebird? Eddie Warriors. I'm actually excited to see Freebird, man. Shout out to Freebird. She's been going for a minute. Says she's back now, but crazy schedule too. I will always support Eddie. Evidence proves he didn't do it. No fence sitting or BS here. Sorry for my crazy schedule. We'll watch when I can. Thanks, Mikey. Love to the O'Briens. Free Eddie. Freebird. We had an awesome, awesome event. Check out the show I did a couple days ago. We reacted to it. I was so friggin' nervous. You're going to laugh at me. I think I dropped the ball. Everyone said I did okay. You know, but shout out to Denise, who've been holding it down today, really standing by us, you know. Shout out to Denise with the 20 banger. And then she stopped by and dropped off a 50-piece extra crispy, no barbecue sauce. You know what I mean? Aunt Jerry had to come in with the 2 jewels. You know what I mean? Shout out to Aunt Jerry. Great, great people. Aunt Jerry and Uncle Gary, right? Is it? And we have cousin Courtney, man. What a family. What? You know what? I ain't even bullshitting. Like, I feel like I known this family for a minute. You know what I mean? And it's just, I just can't wait till I get my boy out of there, really. You know what I mean? People can say whatever they want. I'm not going to say, like, whatever. You know what I mean? But I guess sometimes in these conversations, people got to get a little silly. You know what I mean? Like fighting for Eddie. Somehow means forgetting about Janet. No, it don't, right? It don't. Don't ever think that because that is just not true. What are you doing, Michaela? That is just so not true, man. But before I let y'all go, man, I appreciate everyone who helped me out today. Let me tell you, man, you don't even know. Y'all helped me out big time, even though I don't get these funds until next month. Thank you. Like, you don't even know what you did today. I appreciate it. Negativity. Oh, no. Oh shit, wife's home. I gotta finish the dishes, get the shit he's cooking, but that won't take. That's right, it's her birthday. Everyone said happy birthday.
Gave me tips at work today. I made like $10 in tips.
$10.
Yep, everybody gave me tips.
Nice. Happy birthday. You know, it's such a busy week because, like I said, we have today's my also, and tomorrow's my mother's birthday. And it's my granddaughter's birthday. I'll see her today. I'm so excited. But what I will do is I want to say we love you all. You know what I mean? From my family to your family. I appreciate everything y'all do for me. No bullshit. I guess I gotta vet it out. But I don't know, something I noticed about the YouTube world, right? That I guess you could say we're all kind of swimming in. Because lately, as I step back and I look around, right, it feels like everybody, right? It feels like just everybody out there is running on fumes, man. Everybody's fighting with each other. You got broken friendships, and it just seems like being negative is so expensive. It costs people energy to be negative. It costs you your peace. You're losing sleep over it. And sometimes people you thought, right, would be in your life forever, you come into this YouTube stuff with, and you realize that you did something that ruined your friendship. Like I call it the drama economy. And I've been thinking about this a lot because you ever notice some creators, right? They don't even need content anymore. They're right. They just need chaos. Just open up their mouth and it just spews out there, and it's crazy because drama just seems like it's the new currency, right? And fighting is the new algorithm, and every meltdown just becomes another deposit into the YouTube check world. So when you're supporting all that stuff, boom, boom, and that's cool. Support everybody you can because it's not easy coming up with this stuff to talk about every day. I mean, people don't tune in because they support you, or do they tune in because they want to see if today's the day that you're going to really, really crash out? It's like why people watch NASCAR. You know what I mean? Why people watch NASCAR? Because I think people ain't there for the race all the time. Everybody's not there to see who's going to win the race. People are there probably because they're waiting for the next wreck, right? They're waiting for the next accident. And Turtle Boy, look Look at Turtle Boy, because Turtle Boy built his whole empire off this shit. He built his whole empire off that energy. But now, right, where is that empire? You really got to ask yourself, right? Does he have supporters or does he have spectators? You know what I mean? Supporters, are they supporting him or are they just waiting to witness his downfall? Because when spectators don't clap for you, they definitely gonna clap when you fall, bro. You know? I mean, audiences, man, you know, what I notice as I look around, they love a train wreck. You know what I mean? Look at the poll. Look, they love a train wreck. You know, I mean, they'll call him out because he's awkward, call him out for being a geek, you know, because he is. Roasting his sneakers, whatever it takes. And is that support? No, that's the people watching the downfall like it's Turtle Boy season finale. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want the real truth, right? Some people don't follow you because they like you, Aiden. They follow you, right? Because they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you to embarrass yourself like the fool you are. And I say that respectfully. Can I call you a fool and say it respectfully? I'm not sure. I got to check on that. That's a good question. Now that, I got to write that down. You know, it's like kind of having fans that only show up when your damn house is on fire. You know, I mean, YouTube friendships, what are they really based on? People you met here on YouTube. I mean, some of the people I met on YouTube, great people, man. Really, really good people. But for the most part, people come into this space, right? They're not longtime friends, but how about the ones that do come in as longtime friends? I mean, they have real bonds. They have histories, best friends, go back 20 years, go back 5 years. And all of a sudden, right, you know, they have all these memories. They have all these events that they have done throughout their life that they'll never forget. Lifetime milestones. But YouTube, right? All of a sudden, YouTube's a pressure cooker. And what it does is it ends up turning your whispers into explosions, right? It turns your disagreements into wars. You know, when you would say, I love you, bro. All of a sudden, I'm reacting to your downfall tonight at 8 p.m. Tune in. You know, friendships don't break here. They evaporate. They're just gone, poof. And once the audience gets involved, right? Once people start getting involved in what's going on, once the comments start choosing sides, the views start climbing. Oh shit, the views. And that's when your friendship becomes content. Your pain becomes a friggin' thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, your loyalty becomes a liability. That one I had to write down. You know, and I think being angry every day is just too friggin' exhausting, isn't it? Being on the attack every day is not exhausting. Being in beef every day, it don't wear you out. I mean, I would think it's like carrying a backpack full of friggin' bricks and wondering why your back hurts all day. Because you know what? Negativity is heavy. You can't even lie and say negativity is not heavy. My back is killing me. You know, negativity is definitely heavy. You know, and some people wake up every morning, choose to lift the drama, the revenge. They want to lift it all. They want to lift it all. I mean, you know what? In Turtle Boy's following isn't even what it used to be. And most people who just, love to watch him crash out. Look at the comments. Look at the tone. Look at the energy. All right, people, but I got a lot of work that I have to do. I got the sink fixed today. That was a good thing. But people are, tuning in to turn to cheer Turtle Boy on, but listen, people, forget about Turtle Boy. It was a great show today. Thank you, everybody, who supported me. Thank you for the W Number podcast. What's up with that? Thank you for him coming through. You know what I mean? Holding it down. We're going to talk to him more. Go check him out. And until next time, we out. Thank you. Thank you. Let me thank the people that help make this all possible.
Let my house feeling good, sun shining bright. So Tony G on the porch.
That. Thank you to the people that help make this possible, man. I couldn't have done it without y'all. Big shout out to my number one, my wife today. Happy birthday. Big happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy grandma day. We get to see our grandkids today. And thank you to the number one mod out there, Miss Denise, for the 50 gifted memberships. Yes, thank you. She knows what the struggle is. She knows the struggle is real. Aunt Jerry, thank you for the 2 Jewel Silver Stars. Really appreciate that. Of course, Your Honor coming through with 5 memberships. Thank you. And then how about a big dog, the Christmas lady, what Regina calls her, with another 20 gifted memberships. Come on now. Courtney coming through with a 5 banger. Then Denise coming in with $1.99. I'm getting off right now. And Denise with the $1.99. Freebird with the $100. Thank you very much. Big shout out to Erin Murphy with the 1. Oh, Big Ed O'Brien, member for 3 months. And he is, I think, on the 2nd tier. What's up with that? Thank you, Ed. Big Ed Snacks. Really appreciate everybody that helped us out today. And big happy birthday to my wife. And I'm going to tell everyone all the birthday wishes that you guys sent today. Thank you. And we'll talk to you later. We out of here. Say bye. Say bye.
Let my house feeling good, sun shining bright. So Tony G on the porch, just a casual sight. But then I glanced it down, it's dope wide ajar. I had to check it out, my heart racing like a clock. Heard some noise.